Yo, what's up guys? The Insane Game Freak here. Here to bring you another Insane Manga Corner. And this time we're going to do this on Nisekoi. And obviously I don't hold the volume in my hand, so I'm doing this from my phone. This is a Samsung Galaxy S Blaze. But anyways, besides the point, Nisekoi, which is essentially a manga about mafias and romance. And keys. A lot of keys and a lot of promises. Anyways, let's get into it. So, Nisekoi is one of those... It's one of those shonen harem-ish shonen. It's a harem-ish shonen. It's essentially a shonen harem without the ridiculous amount of ecchi and the ridiculous amount of fan service. It's pretty much... It's kind of like Sketch Dance in the sense that it prides itself on its character interactions. Instead of the focus in Sketch Dance being, ridiculous comedy and parodies, Nisekoi is all about romantic comedy, love triangles, and just a whole bunch of shit. So the main character's name is Raku Ichijo. I swear to God, when I first see his name, I always want to go Ichigo, but Ichigo is with a G and his name is spelled with a J, so Ichijo. Yeah, that still doesn't sound right. I won't call him Raku. Raku just sounds better. Raku is like the son of this mafia family. And his whole thing is that he doesn't really want to be in the mafia family anyway. His whole goal is just to find this girl he made a promise with, 10 years ago. He has like this really weird pendant lock around his neck that he's been carrying for 10 years since he met this girl when they were like 6, and they promise, it's like she'll hold the key and he'll hold the lock, and when he meets the girl again and she unlocks the key, they will get married, which seems like a really ridiculous story for a fucking 6-year-old, but whatever, we'll go with it. And the whole premise of the story is essentially that throughout him just going to school, he ends up losing the locket that day, and he also ends up running into a new student in the process, which would be Chitogi Kurosaki, I believe is his name. What's up with these names that are so close to Ichigo and Kurosaki? This is like Bleach World. I didn't notice that until I started recording, but goddamn. But the girl's name is Kurosaki, and she's like this really rough around the edges girl, but it's like a G, almost like several different things. But the whole thing is they end up having this horrible relationship because Chitoge, stuttering, ain't that a bitch? Chitoge Kurosaki, that's better, just call it that. Kurosaki is kind of like one of those honor-bound girls, so she agrees to help him look for the locket. They have their little spat out, but at the end of the day, she does find the locket for him, and they're all cool. They still don't get along for shit. And Raku already has a crush anyway. Her name is Onodera, who consequently has a crush on him too. You can tell that just through the first few chapters. Just she totally wants to get with him. And the whole thing is that Raku finds out that Kurosaki also is from a mafia family, and it just so happens that both of their mafia families are feuding. And the only way to get them not to feud is to have those two pretend to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Actually, it's an arranged marriage, but they already knew each other, so they just pretended to be boyfriend and girlfriend. And so the premise of the story is that Raku's trying to find his true love girl, while at the same time pretending to date Kurosaki, who he can't fucking stand, while to appease the mafia families. And that's pretty much the story. It's and pretty much the chapters, I've read the first 2 volumes that Viz has put out. Viz put out the second one, I think, earlier this week that I'm recording this. But I know it's an alpha, but I can't read it in alpha because it started out at chapter 50, and volume 2 only ends at chapter 16, so I think the next, 3 volumes would have to come out before I can even touch alpha, which is fine because I did that for Blue Exorcist. I dicked around. But I figured I'd use this as an Insane Manga Corner and get my first impressions, because it's one of those mangas that I don't necessarily find insanely interesting for in its own right, but it kills me because this shit stuck, even though other series like Barrage and Takamagaha didn't stick, which makes even less sense. Because this series is way less it's one of those shows that's really funny because of its random ridiculousness. Like, for example, the girl Onodera is the girl he likes, and Onodera likes him, but they're all shy and shit. There's this whole thing right now in the storyline, at least from the earlier chapters, from the things I've read, that supposedly she may be the girl that he met when they were younger, which is probably what it is. But then they keep throwing in a whole bunch of side stuff. Like, for example, recently Kurosaki was just kind of like, oh yeah, I made a promise to a boy 10 years ago. She's not talking to anyone, but it's stated in the chapter. It's like, oh yeah, I did a promise with somebody 10 years ago about something. And the thing that she correlated with something Raku said, even though Onodera does remember having does have a key that probably would fit into Raku's thing, but Onodera is one of those shy Hinata type girls, so she's not gonna really do anything. I do like her friend Ruri, who fucking instigates a whole bunch of shit. She's like that girl who pretty much knows everything and just keeps trying to push Onodera in the direction, but Onodera is so shy and frigid that it's insanely hard to get her to do anything. Like within Volume 2, she's essentially throughout the entire chapter, she's just kind of like instigating shit. We're gonna go study at Raku's house. You're gonna teach Onodera how to swim. It was just a whole bunch of ridiculous shit. And then plus that, and what kills it is that Kurosaki seems to be good at shit you would think Onodera would be good at. Like, Kurosaki is pretty good at cooking. Onodera sucks. Kurosaki's athletic. Onodera can't swim. Oh yeah, and Kurosaki's a fucking genius. That's the other thing. Onodera's not that smart. Literally, Kurosaki has like almost all the qualities of a girl someone would want to fuck with, but her personality is kind of ridiculous. Also, she seems to have random quirks, which obviously, this being a romantic comedy-ish anime, not anime, but manga, is gonna play that whole, well, they're together and they hate each other, but little by little they start to grow to like each other, which is kind of where it is now. They just keep putting them in really awkward positions, like Raku saves Kurosaki from drowning, so this whole little chapter about her trying to thank him and shit. She ends up like fixing his pendant because it has like a broken chain, and he accidentally loses it, and at the same time this is going on, fucking Onodera is trying to confess to him, which gets ruined by like the most ridiculous shit, by the way. It gets ruined because somebody throws this fucking baseball. So one of the classmates just randomly throws the baseball accidentally through the thing. Raku's friend, what is his name? Maoki, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's actually pretty funny too, and then one thing I do like is that the manga doesn't do all the cliches. Like, for example, usually one of the biggest cliches is that the characters don't realize that since they're pretending that no other character besides those two characters and maybe like one extra character knows. No, that's not even how it works. Literally, Raku's main friend knows, and Kurosaki, Onodera knows, and Ruri knows already. And not because of some accidental, well, let me rephrase that. Kind of accidental for Onodera, but Kurosaki goes out and straight out and says it anyway, so it didn't really fucking matter. I also do like the fact that you have like the mafia boys from like Raku's group, and then like Chitogi's like fucking guardian Claude. Just having all these random encounters and fucking with each other, like the mafia dudes from Raku's side. One of the chapters is them trying to instigate them being alone together, so they lock them in the fucking shed, and I was just like, well, we can see why Raku doesn't want to become a mafia man now, don't we? And then Claude is like this overprotective like guardian character who's just fucking he's one of those like what series does that? He reminds me of Subaru's dad from Mayo Chinky with that whole, I'm gonna kill you if you try to do anything indecent. But I'm like, but they're dating. They told you they're dating. Like, why are you still being overprotective? And in like the last chapter of the volume, we're introduced to Suigumi, which is this may possibly be the guy that Kurosaki was referring to with the whole I made a promise to someone 10 years ago. But then we find out the whole gag with Suigumi, which is also cliched as hell. It's like the biggest problem with Nisekoi. It's just really, it has a lot of cliche points to it. It's not inherently bad, and I do like the gags with the whole Kurosaki ends up being a better girl than Onodera in terms of like side shit. The only thing Onodera really has over Kurosaki is personality. And I'm not joking, at this point it's almost painfully obvious to tell that Kurasaki's technically better than Onodera. Because as I said, Onodera's main thing is that she's just really nice and sweet, even though she sucks. Like, I guess for the superficial shit, Kurosaki comes off better, which you wouldn't expect for a certain point. And they even have like the joke between each other. They don't even call each other by their names 90% of the time. Kurosaki calls Raku Bean Sprout, and Raku calls Kurosaki Gorilla Girl, which is actually pretty funny, especially because there are a lot of scenes where they're arguing with each other and then they have to pretend to be lovey-dovey in front of their classmates and shit. Because as I said, their friends know, but not like the entire class knows. So, like, the school can't know. So that for the most part, they still have to pretend, and it's actually pretty funny because they actually end up doing a lot of random shit. And obviously, Raku's one of those main characters who is like an effeminate guy. The biggest correlation I can make is what's the character's name from Toradora? Ryuji. He's like Ryuji. Almost exactly like Ryuji, to be perfectly honest. It's that whole, he comes from a scary family, but he's not really that scary of a guy himself. He's actually pretty timid and, not really timid, let me rephrase that, not timid, but he's not really, he acts more effeminate than most guys would. Like when it came to movies, and they had to go out for their date. It was like, I want to see the happy-go-lucky girl movie, and she wanted to see the ridiculous action movie. He's like the woman in that situation. So, the manga's fine, and yeah, this is spoilers for the first 2 volumes, but it's not that big of a deal, considering I still don't know what happens in the 3rd, 4th, 5th volume. I'm just surprised what kills me is that this made it past, is already in its, 60s in terms of chapters, but fucking Barrage and Crossmanage, Barrage and Takamagahana couldn't get past like 20. And what kills me is Crossmanage is going further than those two, which is weird. It's like, oh, okay, the romance series and Shonen Jump, apparently that's appealing to people, which is perfectly fine. I mean, as I said, Nisekoi isn't bad, it's just really cliched at certain portions. But as I said, it's pretty funny. I can't necessarily say, I mean, I like the characters to it enough, I guess. And I'll say this much, I understand the appeal of this a little bit more than I understand the appeal for, say, something like Neurorise and the Yokai Clan. I'm just throwing it out there, and just to really explain what I mean by that. Neurorise Yokai Clan has some of the most blandest character designs in terms of the humans I've ever seen in my life. I don't understand why people, maybe it's the demon side of Neurorise and Yokai Clan people like, but good God. I'm watching like the dub anime on Nia Alley. Yura has like Yura has like the most, it's like the plainest design. For a character who's meant to be like an Amioji, you think me mildly threatening, she has like the plainest design. It has like some of the like dullest gags. The fuck? Alright, I'm gonna stop ranting on something else. But overall, Nisekoi isn't bad. You know, it's fine. It's kind of just like a chill anime. Manga, InsaneMangaCorner. Fuck me. Ah! But that's essentially my thoughts on it. There's really not too much to say since I'm only talking about like the first 2 volumes, and that's all I've read. I'm not totally. I really doubt this series. This series doesn't really have any fighting in it, and I really doubt it's gonna have any extreme fight. I guess the end of volume 2 was the most fighting I've seen, and that was more of Raku kind of being a dick. Like I like that scene when he tricked. I'm not gonna. What's his name? Susugimi. When he tricks Sugumi to chase him, because you know they're having like a fight, and this motherfucker brings guns because that's how the mafia works. And the fucking Raku's like, you know what? You need to chill out for a bit. And he jumps out. He jumps through a window. And the other dude jumps behind him through the window in the classroom, thinking it probably leads like it's like a few feet. No, it's like maybe like 3 or 4 feet above the ground. The motherfucker's heading into the pool. I was just like, Ragu, you don't do that many badass things, but that was funny as hell. Good point. Because he had like this dick, he had like this shit-eating grin on his face. It was like, eat a dick, dude. Like that was like the first thing he said. I also love it when like Raku freaks out. He does this whole fucking, like in the first, it was like the first few chapters when they're on their fake date and Onodera sees them. This is before Onodera finds out it's a fake couple thing, and she's like, so what are you guys doing here? And she's like, and Kurasaki's like, yeah, you know, we're totally dating. And fucking Iraku in this like fucked up mindset is just kind of like, I don't know what she's talking about. We haven't been dating. Like he has like the whole swirly eyes and shit, but he's talking. It's one of those rare situations where he's talking sense, but he's not supposed to be talking sense, because most characters usually end up doing the opposite, where they're supposed to be talking sense and end up talking gibberish. For whatever reason, Raku, when he gets into that mode, he's just kind of like, it's like, no, the only reason why we went to the cafe was because she wanted to eat some meat. I didn't really want to go to the cafe. She made me watch a fucking action comedy because we had to agree, because she always in that action movie. I was like, God damn, Raku. So apparently you're really honest when your brain malfunctions, but whatever. But overall, solid manga. I'm enjoying it enough. It's fine. Where's my Sket Dancer Madaka Box digital releases? And fuck you, Brandon. You and your... Mind you, you didn't spoil anything, but god damn it, he went through Madaka Box like hell. I'm still at the whole not equal, beginning of the not equal arc, so god damn. But yeah, that's Nisekoi. Sorry for the random rambly shit, but I haven't done one of these in a while, so I kind of fucked up my format for it. But please tell me your thoughts if you're reading it or if you're going to read it. It's in Viz or Shonen Jump. The first 2 volumes are on Viz Manga. The first one I got through a promotion, that whole Christmas promotion thing. If you renewed your thing, you got like a free digital volume. I just used that for the first volume of Nisekoi. And then the second one I just bought today. So follow us in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. This has been the Insane Game Free. I almost said Insane Game Minute. Wow, that hasn't happened. That's a first. Anyways, last game, play to win, and I'll catch you guys later.